All right, well, welcome back to another video. So in this new video, I'm going to be showing you how to do two-step equations. So in our last video, I was really trying to show you guys how to do one-step equations, and those are pretty straightforward because you only have one step. So now we're going to be doing two-step equations. So we're going to be taking those skills we used in our one-step equations, and we'll be using them in our two-step equations, except with an extra step. That's all we're doing. So it's not too difficult, but I just want to show you guys how to do it. So let's start with some examples. So let's first distinguish what a one-step is and what a two-step equation is. So in a one-step equation, we would have something like um, x over 3 is equal to 5. We could have 3x, no, we could just have x minus 7 is equal to 8. Or we could have 3x is equal to 42. So in these one-step equations, well, there's only one step we have to do to isolate the variable because in this, like for instance, in this, I would just multiply times 3 to get rid of everything on the left side to figure out that x is 15, right? And this one, I would just have to add 7 to figure out that x is 15. In this one, I would just have to divide by 3, and you'd get the point, right? Just to get the same exact things. One step to solve those things. But now I want to figure out how to do two-step equations. So what is a two-step equation and what does it look like? So two-step equation takes those same skills that we just used in that one and we input it now into an extra step. So let's try an example. So let's say I had x over 3 plus 5 is equal to 42. So how do I do this? So we have to first know how do we go about this. So here's a rule you have to look at. Whenever we have an equation like this, the first thing we do is we try to isolate the variable. So now to isolate the variable, before we can do anything else, we have to subtract everything we can from one side before we do any other operations. So we do either addition or subtraction, right? That is just a rule you have to memorize. So whenever you see this, whenever you see these kinds of equations, you look for addition or subtraction. So we could subtract the 5, right? Because the 5 is just sitting there with a plus sign. So we do the opposite of the plus sign, which is a minus sign. So we take out the 5 on both sides because that's the rule. So 42 minus 5 is 37, okay? And that is going to equal now to x over 3. Now the next step to do would be multiplication or division, right? So now in this case, we can multiply the 3 like we did in our one-step equations to find the answer. And that would be, let me just double check, I don't want to get this wrong. 37 times 3 is equal to 111. So x is 111. There we go. Very, very straightforward. So again, I just want to show you guys one more time. All we ended up doing was we have a two-step equation. So we first do addition or subtraction. So in this case, we had a positive operation over here, so we subtract to get rid of the 5 on this side. And then after that, we have this one-step equation right here. And to get the x onto one side, we multiply a 3 on both sides like that. And that would give us our answer. And that is all we're doing. It's not too complex. We just have to know what we're doing. So let's continue on. So in our new, let's do some more examples now. So let's say I have 6 is equal to a over 4 plus 2. So again, the first thing we do is addition slash subtraction, right? So let's look at this. We have 6 is equal to a over 4 plus 2. The first thing I see is that, oh look, there's a plus 2 over here, and there's just a 6 over here. So what if I decided that I wanted to move the 2 from here to here? I want to get rid of the 2 on this side so I could just have a one-step equation. So it's not too bad. We just subtract the 2 over here and subtract the 2 over here. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And now that's going to equal to a over 4. And now we have a one-step equation. So now we can use our skills from the last video by just multiplying a 4 onto both sides like that. There we go. So therefore, a is equal to 16. Not too bad. at all. So now that I know that, I've finished the equation. Now let's do another example. So this is an interesting one. So if you may have learned this in pre-algebra, maybe not, but let's see if I can help you with this. So the first thing we're going to do is we do addition or subtraction. So now we look here. Is there any ability to do addition or subtraction? So we have 2 times n plus 5 is equal to -2. So no, there's no ability to simplify anything further through addition or subtraction because everything is simplified with addition to subtraction. But what do I see over here? What are these parentheses doing here? So when we see parentheses, that tells us to do something called the distributive property. You may have heard the word a few times in math. And the distributive property tells us that whatever's on the outside, we're going to multiply it on the inside. So if I have a 2 over here, right, this is my 2, I'm going to multiply that 2 times everything on the inside. So I take my 2 and I multiply it over here, and I multiply it over here. So it becomes 2n, because I multiplied 2 times n, and then we take our plus sign, we bring it down, then 2 times the 5, 2 times 5 is 10. Pretty simple. And that's equal to -2. Not too bad. The next thing we're going to do is to subtract our 10. So we subtract 10, very simple, because that is, now we have the ability to do subtraction, right? And this equation looked a lot like the equation we had up here, right? And when we have the ability to, we always try to do addition or subtraction first. So we have the ability to do it, so I subtract the 10 right here on both sides. So we subtracted that. We end up getting left with 2n on this side, and that's equal to -2 minus 10, which is -12. So then we could simplify that by dividing this by 2, dividing this by 2. So n is equal to -6. And that is our answer. We just solved that. Pretty simple, not too difficult. Let's move on to our next problem. So in this one, we have to look again at what our rules are. So the first thing you have to do is addition or subtraction, right? Do I have the ability to do that here? Yes. What do I have right over here? I have a +1 and I have an 80 over here. So what if I wanted to take this +1 and move it to this side so I could leave the -9x by itself on the other side? So let's do it. Let's subtract 1 right here and right here. So 79 is equal to -9x. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is divide our -9 on both sides. Pretty simple. So x is going to equal to -79 over 9. And that is our answer. Very, very simple. And the thing we have to remember is that I can't divide that further because -79 over 9 is not more simplifiable. So that is the most simplifiable it is. So again, we did our first step, addition and subtraction, and then we did our second step was to multiply and divide. So our goal is always to be able to get ourselves into the best position possible to do these two tasks right here. So now I want you guys to try some of these problems. I'm going to show you guys some problems right here. Pause the video, try the problems out for yourself, and then come back right now and come back in a minute when you finish the problems, and I'm going to show you how to do them to make sure that you were able to do them as well. So let's look at some of these. I hope you paused the video and you had done all the problems. Let's see if you got them right. So this one, n plus 5 over -16 is equal to -1. Very simple. The first thing we do is we multiply -16 onto both sides because that is what we're in the optimum position to do. So we do that and we get n plus 5 is equal to +16 because -1 times -16. Then from here, n plus 5 is equal to 16. We could just subtract the 5, right? Very simple. N is equal to 11. Very, very simple. Next one, -10 is equal to -10 plus 7m. So again, let's look. Can I do addition or subtraction? Yes, I can. I can just add the 10 from here and putting it on this side. So -10 plus 10 is 0, and that's equal to 7m. So now what do? I divide by 7 right here. Divide by 7, and 0 over 7 is 0, so therefore m is equal to 0. Pretty simple. 2 more to go. So let's continue. So this one is, I already see as soon as I see the parentheses, I think distribute, because that is the distributive property I just taught you about. So in this case, we take our 10 and we multiply it like that. Very simple. So we have our negative 10 is equal to 10 times x, which is 10 times k, which is equal to 10k, minus, we take our minus 7, bring it down here, 10 times 9, which is 90. So now what do I do from here? So let's think, can I do addition or subtraction? Yes, I can. I could just add the 90 from here and add the 90 from here, and that becomes negative 10 plus 90, which is 80, and that's equal to 10k. From there, I just divide the 10 on both sides. Very, very simple. K is therefore going to equal to 8 when I divide that. Very simple, not too bad. Finally, we have one last problem. So for number 20, we want to figure out how to do this. So let's think again. Can I do addition or subtraction first? Yes, I can. I could add the 1. I could take this negative 1 and add a positive 1 to both sides, right? So this would cancel out, and this would be negative 2 plus 1, which is negative 1. That's equal to m over 9. And from there, I could just do my one-step equation, multiply 9 on both sides, and therefore m would equal negative 9. And as you can see, we've solved all of these equations very simply if we just break it down into these 2 steps. So always think first, can I do, oh, shoot, I don't know where that went. Sorry about this. Okay, so can I do addition or subtraction? And then can I do my multiplication or division? And generally speaking, you should be able to do addition or subtraction first, and then do your multiplication or division. But if you cannot do that, then you may have to switch it on an occasion. Like in this case, for instance, there was no ability to do addition in number 17. We couldn't do addition or subtraction first, so we had to go straight to the multiplication or division. And then from there, we did the addition or subtraction. So just look out for that rule, but generally, for the most part, this rule should hold up. So, all right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. Thank you very much.